All praise to the Heavenly Father. We back on another Shabbat with another segment of sound doctrine with myself, Darash Yahweh, and my brother Amatazah. Before we get started, y'all make sure to subscribe. Make sure y'all share this daily bread with the nation because we doing this for y'all. We trying to give y'all the understanding. We're trying to read these scriptures, give y'all the understanding so we can really internalize and obey the Most High God like we need to. So make sure you like the video. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet to True Nation Los Angeles. Now, with that being said, we're going to open up with my two opening scriptures. The first one is Proverbs. Let's get the foundation of this class. Y'all already know every week we do this. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, and verse 2.
Sound doctrine.
Huh?
4 and 2.
Yep.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 2. For I give you good doctrine.
Come on.
Forsake ye not my law.
For I give you good doctrine. Do not forsake this law. Go to 2 Timothy. Do not forsake the law of the Most High God. Why is that the good doctrine? Because at the end of the day, everywhere in the Bible, no matter everything that you see in the scriptures, from the history to the prophecy to the different stories that we read about, at the end of all of that, at the end of all of the books that we read, at the end of all of the knowledge that we've accumulated, what is stated? In order for you to receive salvation, you gotta keep the laws of God. It don't matter how many books you read. It don't matter how well you can break down these prophecies. It don't matter how great your understanding in Hebrew or Greek or Latin is. None of that matters if you are not focusing on keeping the laws of God in sincerity and in truth. So the scriptures say, I give you good doctrine. I give you the good sound teaching. Do not forsake the laws of God, because that is all that matters. But the issue is 2 Timothy 4 and 3. This is the issue.
2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
That time is now. The time has come that they will not endure sound doctrine. Read.
But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables.
And that's where we are today. You got so many crazy, off-the-wall, amazing, astounding doctrines because in its simplest terms, not everybody is a teacher. In its simplest terms, a lot of people are lacking understanding because they have their own desires, their own agendas, and their own understandings that they're trying to push on people. They're trying to justify why it's okay for me to commit these transgressions and how the Bible technically is not saying this is a transgression. A lot of people are mingling Babylon, Egypt, whatever you want to call America, they're mingling it with the laws of God. You can't mingle God with Baal, with Satan. You can't mingle God with the adversary. But a lot of people are doing that. Modesty don't really mean what the Bible said mean. When it's talking about what you can and can't eat in Leviticus, technically, because, it ain't like we're going to really die. See, what it's saying is, knock all of that off. At the end of the day, obey God. At the end of the day, keep God's commandments. At the end of the day, stop trying to find an excuse according to your will and be sinful. We can't do that. But that's the time that we're in right now. Brothers is making up excuses why they get to sin, whether it be some form of fornication, whether it be some dietary law, whether it be some breaking the Shabbat, all of them things. Sisters are making excuses why they could sin. You in the truth on your fourth husband. You've been in this truth, but you dress in a certain way. You in this truth, but you dealing with brothers a certain way. You're not upholding yourself in the standard of what the Bible tells you a virtuous woman is. You're not upholding yourself to a standard that the Bible says a man of God is. It's a bunch of excuses. Because at the end of the day, this walk takes a level of discipline that a lot of people just are not ready and willing to accept. They hear about the truth. They say, yeah, I'm an Israelite. And then after that, it's like, yeah, but some of this stuff is hard. I mean, God couldn't be having us do this because this is way too hard. No, you just lack discipline. That's what's really going on. So the time would come, and that time is now. People are not enduring sound doctrine. They're making up their own doctrines at this point. So that's the premise, the foundation, the reason for this class, to really teach people the understanding of sound doctrine according to the Bible, right? So tonight, the name of the lesson is Through Torah, the 10 Commandments. We're going to get an understanding of the 10 Commandments in depth through the spirit and power of the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Let's go to Exodus chapter 24. Let's get this established first. The book of Exodus chapter 24, and let's read verse 12.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24, verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me unto the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law and a commandments, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them.
That thou mayest teach them. These are those, the table of stones, the 10 Commandments, right? So the Most High said, Moses, I'm going to give you these 10 Commandments. I'm going to have you write them down, and you're going to teach these commandments to your people. Here's the crazy part, because people will tell you that, oh, we don't keep the law of God anymore. Not even the 10. But watch when we go into the 10 Commandments, you're going to be like, well, that would be so stupid for us to not keep the law, the 10 Commandments of God. It don't even make sense why we wouldn't keep that at the bare minimum, the 10 Commandments, right? But you really have people out here teaching that Christ died, so we don't have to keep that. No, yes, we do. Christ died that we may be able to repent when we fell short of not keeping them. That was the purpose of Christ's death. Not so we could just sin happily and willfully. But we're going to break down these 10 Commandments, and we're going to see that this is something that we should still be keeping today, that is beneficial for us today, and we're going to get a full, well-rounded, thorough understanding of what it means to keep the commandments of the Most High God. Let's go to Exodus 20. Exodus 20, start at verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So it's the Most High is laying it out. He said, y'all know who I am. I'm the one that brought you out of captivity. I'm the one that saved y'all and gave you salvation from your enemies. Read.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Commandment number 1. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Let's understand what that's saying. Go to Genesis chapter 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. A lot of people get this misconstrued with the second commandment, no idols, right? While they are kin one to another, these two rules, these two laws, there's a slight difference between the two. Watch this. Genesis 3, let's start at verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle. It's like you. Let me start from the top. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And ye said unto the woman, ye hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, ye may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it. Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So the serpent came out and said, hey, y'all, so God said y'all can't touch this, y'all can't eat this, y'all can't do this, right? She was like, nah, that's not what was said. This is what was said, right? Read on.
And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat therefore then your eyes shall be opened,
Uh-huh.
and you shall be as gods knowing good and evil.
And you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So the Most High God gave her parameters to listen to this. This is what you can and can't do. That was a law, a commandment that was given to her. You had to, in order to not put anything above the Most High God, is to obey him over everything else. No other gods before me, no other powers before me. Nothing else should supersede anything ever that I tell you. Right? Verse 6.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
This right here is having another God above Yahweh. Why? That's not a literal, that's not a Molech, that's not, you're right. But what a God is a power. You shall have no other power that dictates what you do over me. That's the whole point Yahweh was talking about. If I give you a rule, if I give you a law, if I give you a commandment, that's it, that's all. There's nothing else. There's no one else that you should listen to above what I tell you. But she decided my desire, my pride, my want, my curiosity trumps obedience to God in this moment. She had another God above the Most High God, Yahweh, and that was herself. That was her curiosity. A lot of times we don't realize that. My desire, my ego, my, what's the word? My comfortability will allow me to place myself or place something else over the Most High God. It is, and it's something that's very subtle. I have this conversation with people all the time. You come into the truth, and this always blows me. This blows my mind. You come into the truth. The scriptures tell you, as a man of God, you do these things, you move this way. As a woman of God, you do these things, you move this way. Your virtue, your righteousness should never be dictated by what it is someone else does, what it is someone else says to you, what it is someone else is telling you. But for some weird reason, they'll be like, well, I know it was wrong, but this happened. So you've allowed another person as well as your own pride and ego to be a God above Yahweh in that situation. And a lot of people don't process that. Shalom. And a lot of people don't process that. Because it's not always something physical. Sometimes it's something up here. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Your pride can't be a God before Yahweh. Your ego, your feelings, your anger, your empathy cannot be above the Most High God to allow you to do something that is contrary to what his commandments say. So the first thing that happened in the garden when sin transpired was somebody put themselves and their desires above the Most High God. Someone had a God above the Most High God, Yahweh, at this particular point. That's what happened in Genesis chapter 3. Let's go to Matthew 16. Let's go to the book of Matthew 16. And start at verse 24. Matthew 16 and 24. Read that when you got it.
It's the book of Matthew.
And when we read, when we are in this walk, rather, not when we read, when we're in this walk, a lot of times people have this bad habit of justification, and sometimes to the point of saying, well, it's not even I know it's wrong. It's, well, that's just me. Well, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Well, I think you're being overrighteous. No, that's not what's going on. That is your ego
understanding.
Your lacking of understanding, but your own understanding and your own ego that is telling you, well, the law says this, but I'm going to interpret it this way so I can continue to be this way. That is not sound doctrine. That is not righteous. You are not moving in the spirit of I'm not putting anything else above the Most High God, because to put anything else above to not put anything else above the Most High God takes discipline, it takes selflessness, and it takes true fear. Matthew 16, verse 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 16, and verse 24.
Watch this.
Then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself.
It says, if any man's going to come and follow me, Christ, let him do what?
Deny himself.
You got to deny yourself. You ain't coming first in this. You going to be making sacrifices. You got to have discipline in order to walk with me. Read.
And take up his cross.
And take up his cross. Come on.
And follow me.
And follow me. Come on.
For whosoever will serve his life shall lose it.
Right.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Read.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul?
Read.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? What is it saying right here? Are you willing to sacrifice everlasting life because you want to put you first? What does it mean to put you first? I'm putting myself above the Most High God. The Lord say, I got to make these sacrifices. I got to be selfless. I got to be charitable to my brothers and my sisters. But I say, nah, because I need this bread. Nah, I know I'm not supposed to be working as an exotic dancer, but I be getting the bag like that. Nah, I know I'm not supposed to be sleeping around and holding around, but it just feels so good. Nah, I know I'm not supposed to be breaking the Sabbath, but that's when I make the most money. That's when it's the most turned up. That's when I'm having the most fun. When you decide you and your desires and your feelings are more important than God, you have placed a God above the Most High God, Yahweh. That's what it means. Thou shalt have no other God before me. It's not always something physical. Well, technically it is, because you are a physical person, but you're placing your emotions, your feelings, your pride, those different attributes above the Most High God as to why you disobeyed the Most High God and didn't obey whatever his commandment was. You can't do that. That's sin. I know I'm not supposed to react this way, but I'm upset. So I'm going to do it anyways, and I'll just apologize for it later. That's willful sin. That's wrong.
So I just repent.
Some people, not Hebrews 10 and 26. If you know better, that's a strike against you. Stay in Matthew. Go to 10. We're going to read 38. Matthew 10 and 38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 38.
Come on.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Whoever ain't willing to have this discipline and make these sacrifices for me, you're not worthy to follow me. What does that mean? You're not worthy of the kingdom. You're not worthy of salvation. If you're going to put you first and not put me first, because remember, Christ only came to do whose will?
The Most High.
The Father's. So when you follow Christ, you follow in Yahweh. When you put in Christ first, you put in the Most High God first, because to put Christ first is to try to walk and follow his footsteps, which were the perfection of the law, which was the perfection of the law. That's what a lot of times we don't realize. It's not, oh, you worship Christ. No, we don't. We follow Christ because Christ showed us how to perfectly keep the law. So when you follow Christ and you put Christ first, technically you put him second. But when you put him first above you, but second to the Father, you are putting the Father first in that situation. Because you're saying, okay, Christ showed me the standard of what does it look like to love my brother? What does it look like to love the Most High God? I'm going to make sure that I follow that blueprint, that template, right? So it said, He that taketh not his cross and does not follow after me, you're not worthy of me. Also meaning you're not worthy of the Father. Read.
He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
Right.
He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man reward.
Read Salakia, read 39.
He that findeth his life shall lose it.
Read.
And he that loses his life for my sake shall find it.
That's what it looks like to put the Most High first, to put the Most High God first and have no other God before him. You may want to do certain things. You may want to react a certain way, but you say, you know what? That is not what the Father wants me to do. You know what? That the Most High got a different plan for me. You know what? The Most High is expecting more from me and expects me to move in a more professional, righteous fashion. And if you're not moving like that, you decide how I feel is what matters right now, what I desire matters more than obedience to the Most High God, guess what? That is a violation of thou shalt not have any other gods before me, because you have made your emotions, your feelings, your desires a priority over what God is commanding you. Now let's get into the physical side of it. Exodus 20:4. Let's go back to it. The book of Exodus. Chapter 20.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 4.
Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath,
Read.
or that is in the water under the earth.
Read.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
And keep my commandments, right? So thou shalt not commit idolatry is basically what it's saying. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. Do not commit idolatry. Wisdom of Solomon. Right before Sirach. Chapter 14. And verse 27. Watch this.
Hold on. What verse you said?
Verse
14?
27.
Oh, 27.
14 and 27.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and verse 27.
Come on.
For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning of the cause and the end of all evil.
It says, for the worshiping of idols is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. Idolatry is the beginning of evils, the reason for evils, and the end of all evils, right? Now, again, some people will say, well, idolatry is, it's talking about something technically physical. It is, but at the same time, you have to remember, anything can be an idol. Your kid can be an idol. Your ego can be an idol. All of these different things can be an idol. Outside of people that worship the moon, the star, the sun, white Jesus, the cross, the Mecca stone, all of them things. Idolatry and the worshiping of something else aside from the Father is the epitome of disrespect to the Most High God. What does that look like? Oh, you celebrating Christmas. There's a number of idols in that particular holiday. Halloween is another one. Valentine's Day is another one. New Year's is another one. Whether you know it or not, all of these days are founded upon idolatry. And once you celebrate them, you may not know it, but you celebrate them, you are committing idolatry. That's why it's important for you to understand what it is that you do, understand what it is that you celebrate, understand how it is that you celebrate. Otherwise, you fall into idolatry, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So it's very important that you understand this. Jump up to verse 12.
Verse 12.
Watch this.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of a spiritual fornication.
Of a what?
Of a spiritual fornication.
Read.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life. The moment you put something else above the Most High God, you have corrupted life. That's what happened. People became mortal. We started being able to die because we decided to put something else above the obedience of the Most High God. Insane. But that's what's transpired. That's what's happened in this particular world that we live in. And a lot of times we don't understand. Idolatry is a form of fornication. And I'm going to show you in the scriptures how the Most High God tells you that idolatry is a form of fornication. Watch this. Go to Ezekiel. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23. Watch this. We're going to start at verse 1.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23 and verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, A son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother, and they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed in, there were bruised in the teats of their virginity.
So it said that these particular two women that the Most High God is talking about, it said in their youth they committed whoredoms. Their breasts were pressed, and they bruised their teats of their virginity. They were used and abused, right? Verse 4.
And the names of their were Aholah, the elder, and Aholabah, and her sister. And they were mine, and they were...
And they were what?
And they were mine.
And they were mine. The Most High God said, those were my women. I had a younger sister, I had an older sister. They was both mine. It was my ribs. And they became hoes. Right? Read.
And they bare sons and daughters, and they were named Samaria is a
Aholah.
And Jerusalem Aholabah.
And they bore children. Jerusalem and Samaria. Read.
And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine.
She played the whore when she was mine. Read.
And she doted her lovers on the Assyrians and her neighbors, which were clothed with blue captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses.
Read.
Thus she committed her whoredom.
She committed her whoredom. This ain't talking about a literal woman.
Talking about us.
It's talking about the nation of Israel. It said, y'all was mine. Both of these women were mine. If you read the whole chapter, you'll see that he's talking about the northern and southern kingdom. He said, both of y'all was mine, and y'all was out here thotting. You was out here thotting with the Assyrians, then the Babylonians, even the Egyptians. Legs out here bust wide open. Were they literally doing that? No. What are they talking about? They were immersed in those cultures, those ways, those gods. They wanted to be like the Assyrians. They wanted to be like the Egyptians. They wanted to be like the Babylonians. They were committing spiritual fornication, following their ways and following their gods.
That's like the wicked seducing.
The ways of the wicked seduceth, And boy, did it seduce. Go to Jeremiah. I was going to read that whole thing, but we can go to Jeremiah for the sake of time. Jeremiah chapter 3. This is to show you that idolatry is spiritual fornication.
I got time today.
God. Jeremiah chapter 3. Let's read start at verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, you said verse 9?
No, chapter 3, verse 1. We're going to start at verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
Yet returneth again to me, saith the Lord. Here's the thing. When did Israel physically commit whoredom? It's not saying y'all just decided to go out and sleep around. No, he's saying you went out, you wanted to worship the god of the Egyptians, the gods of the Babylonians, the gods of the Assyrians, the gods of the Greeks. Not at this particular time, but later on down the road, the gods of the Greeks. We became strongly Hellenized. And it said, but yet you still return it. We was married.
Hey, the Most High, man, we think about it though, man. He the Most High, man. It's just a trip how we think exactly in a way, like, man, you know, that's some sucker stuff, man.
Yeah.
How you gonna be? You with me? You gonna go and come back to me?
Yeah, and that's the law that he put out there.
Most High, like, man, y'all some clowns, some busters.
But the crazy part is he had so much mercy. He told us, y'all better not do that. But he's so merciful that he's like, man, y'all was out here being some hoes. But you know what? I made a promise with your forefathers, and you know what? You still mine at the end of the day.
Come on, get you something to eat.
Right, right. And it's crazy because we don't realize that idolatry is the equivalent to a woman stepping out on you. You have allowed another man to be your head, to conquer you, to lead you. And you think you're going to come back to me as your husband? Man. That's what idolatry is. You bowing down to another man. You submitted yourself. You've let another man submit you. The Most High looks at idolatry as that is literally what it is.
He said, you playing a harlot.
Man, imagine being married and playing house with another grown man. And your husband at home like, hold up.
And your husband is like really that guy. And you went and cheated with a buster.
Even worse. Even worse. That's what idolatry is. That is Exodus 20 and 4, understanding in depth what Exodus 20 and 4 is talking about. Don't make any graven images, because when you make these graven images and you bow down to these other idols, it's you sleeping with another man on the Most High. You messing around on the Most High. Romans 1. Romans chapter 1, and we're going to read verse 25. This is what we as a nation have been doing. This is what we as a nation still continue to do. We have to stop. We got to do right by the Most High. We got to stop committing spiritual fornication, idolatry. We got to stop putting things above the Most High God, which again blows my mind because they say, oh, we don't keep the Ten Commandments anymore. It sounds like we should. Romans 1 and 25, read that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator?
That's what people are doing today. We worshiping and serving the creature more than the Creator. We are giving more credence to the things that were created than the Creator himself. We giving more credence to the constellations. We giving more credence to Mother Nature. We giving more credence to my mama or my granny or the ancestors. But we're not giving enough credence and respect and putting enough respect on the name of the Creator of all of these things.
Or the like you say, or the Democrats or the Republicans.
Right.
This other shit.
We putting too much faith into politics and all of these different things. People damn near lost they sanity because of the election. At the end of the day, it's all the Most High is doing and the Most High's will. But y'all losing y'all mind over politics. Y'all putting too much faith in these things and worshiping these things. And what it means to worship is to give the utmost respect and regard to. You putting more respect on that and fearing that more than you fearing the Lord is asinine. It's crazy. But that's what's going on. We worshiping the creature more than the creator. That is idolatry. That is disrespectful to the Most High God. That is something that we must break and we must stop. Let's go back to the book of Exodus. So thou shalt not have any other gods before me. Thou shalt not make any graven images or commit idolatry. That's what we've covered so far, understanding what those two things are. Exodus 20 and verse 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 7.
Come on.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Thou shalt not take the, is that it?
For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Thou shalt not take the Most High's name in vain. A lot of people don't even really understand what that means. That's not saying, oh goddamn. That's not doing stuff like that, right? Let me do this real quick. Shem, which is the name, right? So when we say Yahweh Bahashem, Hashem is the name, right? So Shem is name. It means name, reputation, fame, glory, the memorial or the monument. That is what's called the outline of biblical usage on that particular word. Now, the actual definition is an appellation, meaning another name or an AKA, as a mark or a memorial of individuality, honor, authority, character, fame, renown, or report. Thou shalt not use the Lord's name in vain. Thou shalt not take, people will say use the name. No, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. You shall not make the Lord's name, his honor, his glory, his reputation be empty and void. You know when people say, hey, stop playing with my name? You know when people sit there and lie on your name and say, well, such and such told me it's cool. Or people will sit there and try to test, what they say, test your gangster. Test to see if they're trying to play you for a mark. That's what God's saying. Don't go around and find out. That's what he's saying. But watch this. Let's go into the scripts. Oh, real quick. Vain, shawah or shaw, emptiness, vanity, falsehoods, nothingness, emptiness of speech, lying, worthlessness, a sense of desolating, evil, literally ruin, or morally, especially guile. Figuratively, idolatry as false or subjective. Uselessness as deceptive. Also adverbially in vain, falsely lying, vain, vanity. So don't take the Lord's name and make it mean absolutely nothing. Don't lie on the Most High's name. Don't slander the Most High's name. That's what it's talking about. But watch this. Let's get a couple of scriptures on it. Let's go to Numbers chapter 14. Numbers chapter 14 and verse 11 through 17. This is Moses showing true fear in the Lord and making sure that nobody else can take his name in vain. Numbers 14, let's start at verse 11.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 11. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me?
The Lord was like, yo, these rebellious children keep playing with me, right? Read.
And how long will it be ere they believe me for all the signs which I have shown among them?
He said, how long they gonna believe? How long they not gonna believe in me? I keep showing that I'm here and I am him, but they refuse to believe me. Watch this.
I will smite them with pestilence and disinherit them.
He said, I'm about to get rid of them. I'm about to get rid of them and disinherit them. I'm about to disown them. Right? Read.
And will make of thee a greater nation, a mightier than thee.
He said, from you alone, I'm going to make a better nation because you righteous, you obedient, and you've been enduring long enough. And I'm tired of them too. Right? Read.
And Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them.
Right.
and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land.
Uh-huh.
For they have heard that thou, Lord, art among thy people,
That you, Yahweh, are among these people, read.
that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thou cloud standeth over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of cloud and in a pillar of fire by night.
They said, but if Moses said, if you do this thing, then the Egyptians are going to hear about it. And if the Egyptians hear about it, they going to tell the other inhabitants, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Hivites, and everybody else. And they going to hear about it because they know that you are the one in the midst of it. Yahweh is the one in the midst of Israel right now, right? Read.
Now, if thou should kill all this people as one man, then the nation which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying,
They heard your name, they heard your fame, they heard your reputation. Read.
because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he has swear unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness.
So basically, Yahweh's word don't mean nothing. Yahweh's name, reputation, and honor don't mean nothing. Moses had to tell him that. Like, Lord, wait. I know we rebellious. I know we foolish. But Lord, please have mercy, because if you do this, the people going to take your name in vain. The people going to look at your name and look at you as a joke. The people going to look at Yahweh and not fear. Your name ain't going to ring bells like it's been ringing because you couldn't even get these people to obey you. You couldn't even get these people into the land that you promised you would get them to. Now remember, that word vain means in a sense of desolating, evil as destructive, literally to ruin, morally, especially with guile, figuratively idolatry, uselessness, falsely lying, vain, vanity, emptiness. People go hear Yahweh and be like, oh, you talk about the one that took them out of Egypt but couldn't get them to the land he promised. Now they're going to start taking your name in vain, Lord. They're going to start playing with your name, Lord. They're going to start playing with your reputation and your fame, Lord. Don't kill Israel. Don't do that. Please don't do that, Lord. That's what it looked like to take the Lord's name in vain, to play with his name. When you hear Yahweh, you just like, yo, okay. Right? Watch this. Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 3. God. Because a lot of times we hear, oh, don't take the name of the Lord God in vain. Just stop saying God all the time. First of all, that's not his name. That's a title, number one. Number two, to say God or to say God dang it or God darn it or any of those words, that is not utilizing the name of God in vain. We have to get an actual understanding of utilizing the Lord's name in vain, taking his name in vain. Having his reputation, his name, his fame, his honor looked at as nothing, looked at as emptiness, right? So, again, right now we dealing with thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Again, if you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're sharing the content to get this daily bread out so we can continue to feed the people and save these souls. Make sure you hit the like button. Like I say, in the words of my brother Abaya, the way that you wipe your shoes off at the doors, make sure that you hit the like button. Wipe your shoes off at the door. Show respect to the man's house, right? Habakkuk chapter 3. Read verse 2.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 2. O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid, O Lord. Revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known in wrath. Remember mercy. God came from Teman.
Is that 3 and 2? Habakkuk 3 and 2? Or is that 2 and 2? Let me pull it back up. 1 second. Oh, go ahead. Keep reading.
We start from the beginning?
No, verse 3.
Okay. The Most High came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran
Right.
and Selah. His glory covered the heavens and the earth and the full of his praise. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, and the burning coals went forth to his feet. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered, and the perpetual hills did bow. His ways of everlasting, I saw the tents of the Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Thy bow was made quite naked, according to the oaths of the tribes, even the word.
So, watch this. So, where is it? Verse 2, right? It says, O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. That word for speech is your report, that hearing, or your name, your rep. I heard of your reputation, Lord, and I was in fear. Right? Go to Joshua. So it says, verse 1, it says, the prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, upon Shigionoth. It says, O Lord, I have heard thy speech, which is also your report, which is also, it also references your name, your reputation. He said, and I was fearful, right? Because the Lord's name rung bells. And I'm going to show you something in the book of Joshua, chapter 2. Let's read verse 9. So this is why it says, you can't take the Most High's name in vain. Thou shalt not take the name of the Most High God in vain, because of everything that he's done, the reputation that he's built up, and the fact that he is the creator of all. Imagine being a person that does every, matter of fact, I'm pretty sure there's been a number of our people, because I know people that have gone through this. You are the sole provider for someone. You do everything for a particular individual, and in their ungratefulness, they say, you ain't do nothing. You ain't doing nothing for me. You ain't done nothing for me. Downplay everything that you did and everything that you do, playing with your name. Going around telling other people, this nigga don't provide. He don't do nothing. He ain't nothing. Making your name worthless, vain, trash. That's what it means to play with the Most High's name and take his name in vain, to make it worthless. He said, you better not do that. Why? Because he is the one that created everything. He is the reason why you wake up every day. He is the reason that you ain't passed away in a car crash, got shot. He is the reason you don't have cancer. He's the reason why you can wake up every day and you still got breath in your lungs. You better not take the Lord's name in vain.
Everything.
He is everything that is good in your life is him. Good, Joshua chapter 2.
Joshua chapter 2 verse 9.
God.
And she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you.
Right.
For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites, and were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed.
Right, read.
And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt, neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God, in heaven above and his earth beneath.
What just happened? They say, yo, we heard about y'all. Specifically, we heard about y'all God.
He ain't playing.
He about all of that. We was terrified of y'all. Listen, we heard that y'all was coming. This was Rahab. She said, I heard y'all was coming. I already know what's happening. Just please spare me in my house, because I already know what your God is about. And I already know what's about to go down. Stay in Joshua, go to chapter 9. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. His name is his reputation. His name is his honor. His name is his glory. You can't make his name become, his honor, his glory become worthless, become vain. Don't do that. Because he is him. Joshua chapter 9, verse 8.
It's the book of Joshua, chapter 9 and verse 8. And they said unto Joshua, we are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, who are ye, and from whence come ye?
Uh-huh.
And they said unto him, from a very far country, thy servants are come because of the name of the Lord thy God.
Because of the what?
The name of the Lord thy God.
Because of the name of the Lord thy God. We heard about your God. Come on.
We have heard the fame of him.
Heard the what?
The fame of him.
The reputation. We heard how great your God is. We heard that he don't mess around. We ain't taking his name in vain. We heard about him, and we know he is him, and we here to serve. Don't kill us. Now, mind you, these were the Amorites. These were some of the ones that were supposed to be destroyed.
Are these the ones that were saying that they came from somewhere else?
Yep.
And they tried to play it.
And then they found out that they wasn't.
And they just still let him make it.
Because he made the agreement with them. This was them. They knew. They was like, yo, we good. We good. We don't want no problems. We don't, I mean, when I say no problems, I mean no problems. We want zero issues with you and your God. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 9. Deuteronomy chapter 9. And while he's getting that, also remember the situation where before this actually transpired. Remember, the spies were sent to check out the land, and it flows with milk and honey. It's very fruitful, so on and so forth. And Caleb and Joshua were the only two that was like, let's ride. Let's go do what we got to do. This land is fire. All the other spies was like, people too big. Yeah. We finna die. The Lord trying to kill us. Yada, 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 right? Yeah. That's taking the Most High's name in vain too. Yeah. Because remember, the scriptures tell you, when we pray to you, Lord God, you going to hear us out and you going to save us. The fact that they didn't have the confidence in the Lord in that time showed that they took his name in vain. Lord, your name is worthless. Your reputation is worthless. We about to die trying to fight these big niggas. They all giants. And they all look like they with all of that. We've been wandering around the wilderness for the longest. Lord, you brought us out here to die. You have no faith in the Lord. You took his name and reputation of everything you seen him do. Parted the Red Sea. Even before he parted the Red Sea, the locusts that he brought. The death of the firstborns that he brought. All of these things, you saw him. You was like, yo, this man. Imagine you know in the hood, somebody got a reputation as the shooter. Some of y'all that watch YouTube, you watch like them Chicago little them podcasts or the people in Chicago. They be like, yeah, Vaughn, that nigga was a devil. He was a demon. The cat that be with Chief Keef, Lil Reese. Man, Lil Reese, listen, I don't know, that man might have did voodoo or something, because somebody be talking mess on live, and then an hour later they end up, oh no. Their reputation was like, yo, we not playing with their name.
Like Lil Woody.
Right.
No, I ain't talking about the homie. I'm talking about Lil.
Right.
Yeah, that boy, yeah.
They when people, but someone like him, they be like, man, y'all playing with him, y'all playing with y'all life. Yeah. Because their reputation means something. So for them to be that way, when God said, go scope out that land, I'm gonna get that land to you, and for them to come back and take the Lord's name and reputation in vain and say, Lord, we gonna die with them people. Oh, you don't trust me? Oh, you said my word is empty? My word is not valid? Is that what you're telling me? You're taking the Lord's name in vain.
Or like how they did it in when we came up out of Egypt. You know what I mean? We went right back into, we just seen all these things happen, all these great things happen for us to get, we were just reading about, and we turned right back around and said, you know what? make us some.
Give me that calf.
You know what I'm saying? Just melt down some of this gold so we can worship this. We done see this power just take us through all this, and now we sitting around here going back to some craziness.
We ain't got no fear or respect for the Most High God. We literally make his name worthless. And the Maccabees shows a great time where we didn't take his name in vain. Judas was like, they outnumber us about 20-1. We out here 3,000 deep, and they out here, 15, 20,000 deep. But guess what? The Most High got our back. It said he turned around, he cried out to the Lord, Lord, remember your servants when you did this, when you did that, when you did this. Now allow these heathens, allow these devils to fall into our hands too. And that's exactly what happened because they didn't take the Most High's name and reputation and power in vain.
But that's one thing we need to realize, man, that once we do what we supposed to do, man, the Most High got our back. You know what I'm saying? For real. And that's what these people don't want us to, our power, but they don't want us to have our power back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as we disconnect from our power, they have power over us.
Right. And again, because people really don't understand and they underestimate the severity of taking the Most High's name in vain. This is serious. You playing with somebody's name and you playing with somebody's reputation. Just something as small as just understanding in the world. You watch all of these different movies, Scarface, Godfather of Harlem, Power. All of these different shows is the epitome of don't take my name in vain. Don't play with me like I ain't nothing. Don't play with my reputation. That's literally what it's talking about. When folks is trying to mark you out, they basically say this dude ain't got no power. This dude can't do nothing. This dude ain't gonna do nothing. That happens all throughout throughout these movies and these shows. It's the same thing the Lord was showing you. Don't play with me. I'm not the one to be played with. My name, my reputation, my honor means something. And what you not gonna do is you ain't gonna mess up in my name and my reputation as a representative of me, and now niggas is looking at me funny. You not gonna do that. That's what the Lord is telling people when he said, don't take the Most High's name in vain. Deuteronomy 9. And start at verse 24.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 9, and verse 24. And ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you.
Right? So this is Moses talking to Israel. He said, man, ever since we left, y'all been rebelling against the Lord, right? Read.
Thus I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down on the first, because the Lord has said he would destroy you.
Y'all was taking the Most High's name in vain. He was about to get rid of all y'all. Read.
I prayed therefore unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, destroy not thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through the greatness which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand.
Right.
Remember thy servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin.
He pleaded. I know they was playing with your name, Lord, but please, one more chance. Read.
Lest the land whence thou broughtest us out say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he had promised them, and because he hated them, he hath brought them out to slay them in the wilderness.
It said, so these other people won't play with your name and say you don't really got no power. That look at the name of Yahweh and look at it as empty. Said, please don't kill them because people are going to try to play with you after that. We can't have that, Lord. People going to start taking your name in vain. We can't have that, Lord. Go to Leviticus. Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19, verse 12.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 12. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name thy God. I am the Lord.
It says, you shall not swear falsely by my name. Don't lie on my name. Don't say Yahweh told me whoop-de-whoop. Don't say, man, God is my witness. Yahweh is my witness because he got my back or he told me this. And you lying. Everybody know what everybody know about that. Everybody in the world, anybody that grew up in the hood, anybody grew up around rough situations, they'll tell you, don't put me in it. If you on that BS, don't put my name in it, because then you gonna drag my name through the mud. You can't play with my name and my reputation like that. Yahweh saying the same thing. Don't sit up here and lie on me. Don't sit up here and say you're gonna do something. Don't sit up here and say Yahweh told you something and I did not. You can't lie. Don't lie on me. Don't do that. Because then other people gonna think it's okay to play with my name. Then other people gonna look at me and be like, I don't know about that anymore. You make me lose credibility when you do stuff like that. So don't lie on his name. Don't swear falsely by his name, because then you make Yahweh lose credibility. That is taking his name in vain as well. The book of Matthew. The book of Matthew. Sister said, I think the question is, am I correct? You can't say I swear to God. I mean, again, God ain't his name, right? Should you do that, or should you, I'll put that on Yahweh, I'll put that on Yahweh or anything like that? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because you lying on somebody's name. Man, you can ask Matazar. That's everything I love. Nigga, Matazar, no. Ask him. Matazar like, nigga, what? What are you talking about? Then you kill his credibility. Especially if you go along with it and they find out it's a lie, you kill his credibility. His name is worthless now. So yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. Even though God is a title, God ain't his name. But don't put nothing on Yahweh and swear to Yahweh, and Yahweh is my witness, and you know you lying through your teeth. If I'm lying, Yahweh will strike me down right now. If he don't strike you down, then now people going to question the power of the Most High God.
And we know how important the Most High feel about a good name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you know how he feel about his name.
His name.
Let alone how he tell you to, you know what I'm saying, how you need to strive for a good name.
Right.
You know
so how much more his name? And he's that much more above us. So how much more his name and his reputation? Matthew 15, let's start at verse 7. And verse 7. We're going to start at 7.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 7. Ye hypocrites you hypocrites well did Esaias prophesy of you, saying, these people draw near unto me with their mouth and honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
But their heart is far from me. You claiming to worship God, you claiming that this is what I'm rocking with and so on and so forth, but you're not representing him. You're not representing him the right way. There's a lot of people that's in this truth that are a terrible misrepresentation of the Most High God. So when people see Israelites, they hear the name Yahweh, they're like, oh no, that's them niggas. You done made the Most High's name vain. You done made the Most High's name empty and worthless because of your reputation and how you conducted yourself and what people now associate that name with. Your hypocrisy, your upbraiding, the way you talk to people, the way you deal with people. You being a hypocrite and what you telling people versus what they see you doing. I've run into that. I've seen people say, man, I'm happy I ran into you because I ran into some other Israelites before, or I used to be dealing with such and such, and it turned me off to this whole Israelite thing because they preaching and talk about this over here, but then I'm watching them, and they ain't walking that walk, and I'm watching all of the stuff that they do. They doing stuff worse than me. You now make the Most High's name vain because you are the representation of Yahweh in that regard, and you are a hypocrite. That's a problem. You can't do that. You can't be that. That's wicked. So the scripture says, don't take his name in vain. These are all the ways. This is the meaning of taking his name in vain. This is what his name is and what the representation of it is and how it is that you can actually make it vain. Right? Exodus 20.
Could it be taken in vain too, just saying I believe in him and then just not doing that?
You said, can it be taken in vain by saying I believe in him, but what?
Never mind.
Oops. God. Not so much. So not so much saying you believe in them and not doing certain things, but saying that you are the representation of this individual. Because if I send somebody in my name, no, yeah, this good peoples. God, go ahead. If I say, yeah, no, this my peoples right here. This my guy. He good with me. Hey, trust me, he good. Let's say we brothers. I got a good job. I know somebody I can get you in. I get you in. I get you into that job. And that's my guy. You see me. You see how I work. You see my work ethic. You see how I'm moving, right? I say, my guy, he just like me. He pull you in, and you are nothing like what I gave. You are nothing like what I said. You make me look bad. You think anybody else I suggest you gonna hire? Oh, y'all got another dude? Nah, nigga. Remember what happened last time? Now my word means nothing. My reputation is shot. It's the same thing in this walk. Oh, you come as a representation of Yahweh? That's how you move? That's what you do? That's how you talk to people? Nah. That's a joke. That's how you take his name in vain. We're going back to Exodus 20. Exodus 20 and verse 8. And it reads, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger, thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it and made it holy, right? Now, we've got a number of lessons on the actual Sabbath day. We won't go full-blown in depth. If you want it, go to our channel. We have a few different ones on the Sabbath, but I believe the most recent one is, I think it's called Keep the Sabbath Holy, where we go in depth with a lot of the understanding of the Sabbath, right? But there's a few that I will touch on. Let's go to... Where is it? Exodus 31. Why are we keeping the Sabbath? What does it mean to keep the Sabbath? And a few of them I'm going to just rifle off because, like I said, we have a lesson. It's called Keep the Sabbath Day Holy. You can get the full understanding of the Sabbath in that lesson. Let's go to Exodus 31 and 13, though. Make sure. 31. Yeah, Exodus 31 and 13.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 31 and verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily, my Sabbaths you shall keep.
Verily, you got to keep these Sabbaths. Why?
For it is a sign between me and you.
It is a sign. It is a signet. It is an indication that you are my people. Read.
And between me and you throughout your generations.
And this is forever. Read.
That ye may know that I am the Lord, that I do sanctify you.
That I've set you aside for myself. A way that you show that you are my people and I am your God is by you keeping the Sabbath forever. Drop down to verse 16 so we can see that forever.
Verse 16, wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant.
For a perpetual, meaning forever, over and over and over. It renews over and over and over, nonstop. Verse 14 expresses that you will be put to death for defiling the Sabbath. The Lord was not playing about his rest day. The Lord was not playing about, you better spend this time with me. I gave you 6 days to do your due. I asked for 1 day. Same thing in a marriage. Think about it. If I'm asking just for a little bit of your time, you're already doing everything that you want to do. Just give me a little bit of time. And you consistently say, nah, I'm cool. That marriage is going to end. It's going to sever. It's supposed to be an indication between me and you that this is our day. And you say, nah, I don't want to. Most High looks at it the exact same way. So keep the Sabbath holy because it is a sign between me and you. What does that look like? Coming together and worshiping. You can read Isaiah 66, Leviticus 21, Isaiah 66 and 23, Leviticus 23, 1 through 3. And that tells you that on the Sabbath, we're supposed to come together and worship the Lord God. No working, no buying, no selling. That's in Exodus 28 through 11. That's the actual 10 Commandments that specifies. Deuteronomy 5 and 14. Nehemiah 13, verses 15 through 17 shows you it actually in action, the actual law being enacted in that situation. No cooking on the Sabbath. Read that in Exodus 16. No exercising, exerting too much energy, bearing burdens. Jeremiah 17, 21 through 22. That is how we keep the Sabbath holy. No working, no buying, no selling, no exercising, no exerting too much energy, and making sure that we come in together because it is a convocation, which means a gathering, coming together to worship the Lord. So honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. That's what we are to do in order to actually honor it and keep it holy. Let me see something. We'll do one more. We're going to do a part 2 next week. Go to Exodus 20. We're going to have to do a part 2. Exodus 20 and verse 12. Let's read that when you got it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, and thy days may be long upon the land which thou, Lord, thou giveth thee.
It is again, so how is it that the 10 Commandments are done away with? You can't keep the 10 Commandments. Honor your mother and your father. You're saying I don't have to do that? That's crazy. But honor your mother and your father. People ask this all the time. Well, how do I do that? Because, my parents are in the world, and this is the situation. How am I supposed to still honor them? So on and so forth. Well, number one, first things first. If the instruction that they're giving you does not contradict what God tells you to do, listen to them. It's that simple. If you know that every time you guys have conversations, they're one of those, they're the type of parents that like to fly off the hinges and be disrespectful and all of that, the way that you honor them is not putting yourself in a position to have them type conversations with them so that way you don't feel away and that you don't step out of bounds and talk to them in your crazy type of way, even though they moving like that, right? But let's go into the scriptures. Let's look at, watch this, because a lot of people don't realize this. And the Pharisees downplayed this as well, and we're going to get that in a minute too. Deuteronomy 21. Watch this. It said, honor your mother and your father so your days can be long, which means if you don't honor your mother and your father, your days are going to be short. But watch this. There's an actual judgment for rebellion against your parents. Deuteronomy 21. Deuteronomy 21 and read verse 18.
The book of Deuteronomy 21 and verse 18.
Come on.
It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father and the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them.
So you're not listening to your parents. They disciplined you. You still not listening to your parents because first and foremost, if you don't listen, the scriptures tell you foolishness is bound in a child. So you got to discipline them to get them on track. But this is a child or a son or daughter that is older. This is a son or a daughter that is old enough and they feel like, now I'm grown. I ain't got to listen to y'all. Man, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Y'all can't tell me nothing. If that's the type of spirit you got, watch how the Lord say to deal with somebody like you. Because a lot of times we don't realize that. It's kids in the truth that still struggle with that. They want to be rebellious and they want to move like that. It's people that are adults in the truth right now that move a certain way with their parents. Watch this. Read on. Verse 19.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him.
Grab the mic.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto his elders of his city, and to the gate of his place.
So now they said, oh, you don't want to listen to us? Okay, we got to take you to judgment. We got to take you to the leaders. Watch what happens. Read.
And they shall say unto the elders of this city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious.
Our son is stubborn and rebellious. He refuses to listen. And we telling him things that are righteous, clearly. And he's deciding he doesn't have to respect us. What else?
He will not obey our voice.
He don't want to listen to us. Read.
He is a glutton.
He a greedy, lazy, read.
And a drunkard.
Greedy, lazy, drunk nigga. He don't want to do nothing. He want to sit at home and play 2K all day. I'm telling him he got to be productive. I'm teaching him how to, do man stuff. I want him to learn to change a tire. I want him to learn to fix the sink. I'm trying to get him to build him up to be a man so he can be a husband one day, and he giving me the middle finger. He say, no, I don't want to. Read.
And all the men of his city shall stone him with
all
stone.
The men of the city finna pull up and say, you a worthless individual. We finna get rid of you. That's law. For disobedience to your parents, that's law. After they've tried to discipline you and chastise you themselves, and you say, nah, I'm cool. Now, mind you, it said this person's a drunkard, so we see this is an older child. This ain't like a baby. This is an older child. You know how they say, man, if you don't do it's funny at 5, but it ain't funny at 15. It ain't funny at 16. It ain't funny at 17. It ain't funny at 20. That's still a young man, but that's a man. You grown.
That's why the scripture says you got to bend his neck while he's young.
While he young.
You know what I'm saying? Don't even give him a chance to, get strong and buck up and all that,
Cause ain't nobody, a lot of people today ain't got the heart to do that no matter how wicked they kid is. But that was law. We getting all of this wickedness up out of here.
Could you stone yours?
Me? Absolutely. If the Most High said this is how you move.
No, I got you. I'm just, all right, that's enough said.
Yeah. Listen, the scriptures is the scriptures and the law is the law. You feel me? So if the scriptures say, look, if they moving like this, I've laid out the protocol for it.
I think we supposed to throw the rocks. I don't think you're supposed to stone them. No, I think we.
But hey, if you asking me, would I be able to tell y'all to do it? Absolutely. If my son is the devil the Bible speaks of, and the Lord says this is how you deal with it, and we not in this particular world because of course we can't deal with it. What's the difference? He being disobedient and moving in this wickedness. Guess what? Somebody gonna gun him down. He gonna go to jail. Lord willing. He gonna go to jail. He gonna go to jail for life, but somebody gonna put him down because of the way that he moving. Absolutely. I would be able to do that because, again, remember what we read? Remember, what's the first commandment? No other God before me. I can't allow my emotions to cause me to disobey God because, oh, that's my son and I know, but that's just the scriptures say it is better to have no kids than to have a lot of unprofitable children.
Or you can't love your child more than the Most High anyway.
That too.
You definitely can't.
Yahweh Shai said that.
Yeah.
Yahweh Shai said that. And literally, in the book of Psalms, it says, man, it's better you ain't got no kids than you have unprofitable children. Yeah. These kids wicked as hell. This ain't nothing but a reproduction of evil in the world. Get rid of the bunch. Absolutely. You gotta be willing to say, I fear the Most High and I respect the Most High more than I got whatever feelings I got towards my children. My children are evil and my children are wicked and moving a certain way. Hey,
On a micro level, we the Most High dealing with us the same way we deal with our kids. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? We supposed to be disciplining our kids and show them how they. And the Most High doing the same thing with us. If we don't want to ship up and do what we're supposed to do, you got to go.
facts.
Simple as that.
It's the exact same concept. What was that? Let's go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. Boy, it's way behind Maccabees. Start at verse.
Solid in between Maccabees.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Chapter 3 and verse 1.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
Hear me, your father, O children, do thereafter that ye may be safe.
So it said, hear me out. Ben Sira, which is, I'm drawing a blank right now. His name is Jesus. Jesus, the son of Sirach. They also refer to him as Ben Sira, son of Sirach. It says, hear me, your father, O children. He's like, I'm writing to y'all as a father. I got kids. Let's take heed to this game I'm giving you, right? Read. Oh, and then he said, and do thereafter, and you gonna be safe. Read.
For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
It said, listen, the parents have rule, authority, and honor over you. You need to obey them. Read.
Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins.
If you honoring your parents, you make an atonement for your sin. Your obedience to righteous parents and your parents telling you to do what you need to do is going to make an atonement for your sin. Because if you're going to listen to your parents, then that means you're going to listen to the Most High God. And if you're taking heed to the Most High God, then that means you're doing your best to be reconciled and at one with Him and atoning for your sins. If you have any, read.
Whosoever, and he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
Layeth up treasure. Why? That's cold right there. Why? If you honor your mama, it's like you laying up treasure. What does it mean to lay up treasure?
You saving up.
You saving up. That means you stacking up coins. Why is it saying that? Because
Heavenly treasures.
But here's the thing: heavenly treasures and earthly treasures. Why? Because as an individual who's taking heed to their parents, as an individual that's taking heed to their mother, remember your parents, even as an adult, your parents will do a lot for you. Your parents going to always look out for you. Whenever you fall on hard times, you got that. Laying up treasures is meaning I'm saving up in the event that I run into a situation, I ain't got it. And having the obedience and being obedient to my parents, guess what? They're going to be like, my son is solid. My child is solid. If they fall short, I got them every time. You're laying up treasures. You're laying up a savings in your savings account because they trust you. You've built up a good reputation. They have no problem wanting to help you. In addition to storing heavenly treasures, because obeying them is obedience unto God. And you just adding marks in your favor as it pertains to trying to get to the kingdom. Read on. Verse 5.
6 or 5.
Verse 5.
Okay. Whosoever honor his father shall have joy of his own children. And when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard.
It said, if you honor your father, you'll have joy of your own children. How many of y'all done heard your parents say, oh, you see how they acting? That payback. That was you. The Lord is going to give you your just due. If you were an obedient, righteous child and tried to do right and grew up to be a profitable child, a profitable seed, the Lord got you. But if you didn't, the Lord got you. You got to remember that. Most High said, you want to enjoy your kids? You better be an enjoyable kid. It said also, If you want your prayers heard, you better be obedient to your parents. Don't come over here trying to pray to me and get something out of me. Well, you not obeying them because you not obeying them is you not obeying me. Now, you got some nerve thinking you going to come to me and ask for something, and you been disrespecting me.
That's like going to the other parent trying to ask him for something when the other one already done told
Already
you.
told you no.
Yeah.
The exact same concept. So it says if you honor your father, you'll enjoy your own kids, and if you honor your father when you pray to the Father, your prayers will be heard. Verse 7.
Verse 7. He that feareth the Lord will honor his father.
Because honoring your father is the same as honoring the Most High God. Read.
And will do service unto his parents as to his master.
And you will do service unto your parents as unto your master. What does that mean? A servant to a master is somebody who works willingly for their master. So with your parents, you know, you got to cut the grass. Man, nigga, don't feel like cutting the grass. It's Sunday morning, man. I could be sitting up doing. Shut up. You need to work willingly as if it was your employer. You need to be okay with doing these things for your parents. Oh, yeah, no problem. A matter of fact, do you need help with anything else? Oh, do you need this? Do you need that? That's what it's saying. Read on.
Honor thy father and thy mother, both in word and deed, and a blessing may come again thee from them.
That again, remember we said laying up them treasures. Honor your father and mother in word and deed. Don't talk to them crazy. Don't get reckless. And in your deeds, the things that you do, be a help to them. Be someone that they can count on. Or do your very best to do so. Have a good reputation with your parents, because there are some people in this world, they be like, man, out of the 4 kids that I had, you the only one I got. You the only one that came out okay. I done heard this before. That's the only one that came out all right. I'm pretty sure y'all done heard that before too. You the only one that came out all right. Have that reputation with your parents, right? And it said that a blessing may come upon thee from them. Hey, when they pass away, guess who they going to lead the most to? Hey, when they pass away or when they're in this situation, guess who's going to receive the ability to make the calls for them? Who's going to be their power of attorney, their financial power of attorney, their durable power of attorney? Who's going to be on their HIPAA documents? That what is it called? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Power of attorney or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not. It's not called a power of attorney in this particular situation. But you get to decide. Oh, are we pulling the plug, or what it is that their end of life requests are and stuff like that. You're the one that they're going to trust with all of that. You receive a blessing from them if you do right by them, right? Read on.
For the blessing of the father established the house of children of the children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundation.
It says when you got the blessing from your family, it says it's going to establish your house. It's going to establish your foundation. It's going to establish your family. Because if you had an honorable man that you looked up to and that you listened to and that you did right by, that means all of the game that you soaked up, when you leave your father and your mother and you establish your own house, is going to be established in righteousness and uprightness, because that's all you know. It says, but if the mother curse you because of how you've been moving, it's going to root out your foundation. If you moving in wickedness and your parents is like, you an unprofitable seed. You got to remember a lot of that stuff. The Most High is listening. He's listening to your parents. He's watching your moves. He's watching how you conduct yourself. It said it's going to root up your foundation. You didn't take heed to your parents. Guess what? You end up having your own family. You will have a broken family. Because you didn't take heed to all of the foundational principles that said this is how you're going to establish a great family. This is what you look for when you're looking for a wife. These are the things that you look for before you lay with her. These are the things that you look for before you impregnate her. These are the things you look for before you even consider being with her. And you say, nah. And then you end up with a whole dragon. Rooted up your whole foundation. Made weak hands and feeble knees. Broke you as a man. Broke your children because you disobeyed your parents. Read on. Verse
Glory
10.
not into the dishonor of thy fathers.
Don't glory in the dishonor of your father. If you got a dishonorable father, man, nigga, y'all don't even know, nigga. My daddy, he was from, nigga, Main Street Mafia. He was a killer. Oh, my daddy, man, look, matter of fact, hey, the only reason I'm from the hood is because my daddy from the hood. Nigga, my uncle and my pops, they put me on. They told me I was going to be for. Don't honor in their dishonor. Don't glory in their dishonor.
Oh, man, that was a little extra right there, man. My daddy and uncle put me on.
Hey, listen, I done heard. Listen, I done heard some. I done heard some stories from some folks, and I'm like, yeah, what?
Yeah, that was deep right there.
I was like, what?
I was like, ooh, that was crazy.
Not my daddy gang bang. He told me stay away from it. He's my daddy nigga. Man, my little nigga gonna be from the hood.
That's crazy.
I had friends when I was growing up. They was older than me. I'm 10, 11 years old. They was the kids. They used to always come to my house because we used to have all the dirt bikes and gas cars and all of that. So the older kids would come over. These older kids, 16, 17, 18 years old. Nigga, when I got my kids, nigga, my kids gonna be from the set. Nigga, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm 8, 19 years old. I don't know nothing. I'm just like, yeah, like I don't know no better, right?
I ain't never seen nobody do that. You never seen that? To bring their kids to the hood, they gonna be from the hood.
Man,
I see kids try to be from the hood, but their parents be like, "Oh, he gonna be from the hood." Nah, I ain't never see that.
I done heard it so many. I done heard it a couple of different times. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's wild.
I could believe it though, but it's crazy though.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? You don't glory in the dishonor of your father. Why? Read verse 10.
Glory not in the dishonor of thy father.
Right.
For thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee.
You shouldn't be happy about your daddy being a dishonorable nigga. You shouldn't be happy your daddy. Man, my daddy had hoes. My daddy had all of these women. I got brothers and sisters all up. So you have a broken family. You're happy about that? Man, my daddy, he was a rolling stone. That's not a good thing. You're saying he was unreliable. You're saying that he was in and out. You're saying that he was unstable. You shouldn't glory in that. I remember growing up, that was something that it continued to get said to me. Granted, my mom was married to my dad. But I had other siblings from like three other women. I have a little brother, I have an older sister, and I have a younger sister that from different women, right? I remember growing up, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I didn't know no better. Man, your daddy got women all over the world. Man, you only got 3 other siblings that we know about. As I got older and I came into the truth, and they was like, yeah, you gonna be like your dad. Nigga, don't put that on me. Don't do that. Man, you know how your daddy was. I don't care. That's not a good thing. It's not okay. Man, I'm just saying, I don't care. But other people are glorying in something that's dishonorable.
That's kind of glorified in our community anyway.
Facts.
Of being a womanizer, having multiple women, and that's just
not taking care of them, over sexualizing them, just using them.
I mean, that goes along with it for sure. But you know what I'm saying? That's definitely man.
Yeah. And so when you come into this walk, like that, this is the understanding the Lord's giving you.
As a little boy, they be like, "Oh, he gonna have all the girls."
Yep.
He gonna, and it kind of like we.
And you teaching them. You like, let me tell you how to get it.
Yeah. The same thing with the girls. Oh yeah, you got a nice body. Oh, they gonna be on you, girl. Oh,
yeah.
You learn how to, whatever. And we sitting there and putting the next generation in the same. Just
the same hole.
Exactly that we stuck in.
Exactly, and it's so crazy because it's telling you right here that dishonor ain't honorable, but we glorify wickedness, we glorify evil,
and we do it all the time.
Right?
Even in this truth.
In this walk, it happens. Yeah. But the scriptures, we getting a full understanding of what it means to honor your mother and your father. You need to honor them. You need to have a certain level of respect for them, right?
Reverence.
But it's reverence for them. But it's gonna give you a little more. Let's read on, verse 11.
My son, okay. For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and the mother Is dishonor, is in reproach to the children.
It says the glory of a man is the honor of his father. If you got a good father that's teaching you how to be an upstanding, righteous man, that is your glory. Like, damn, you raised a good man. Bro, you are an asset to society. I am happy that your father raised you the way that you are.
Like they tell you, man, you come from good stock.
You come from good stock.
You know what I'm saying? The way you
That's what it should be. And then it says, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. If your mother is in dishonor, or if your mother is it looks at you in a fashion that's in dishonor, it's a reproach. If you got a mama that's dishonorable, oh, she loud, she obnoxious, she self-willed, she disrespectful to her husband, she talks to her kids like she crazy, it's a reproach.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
Unladylike.
And the crazy part is people will not like you because of something your mama did.
God.
They'll be like, damn, you can't be mad at the kids. But they will be. It'll be a dishonor to you because your mama dishonorable. So it's telling you that your parents got to be right too, but you got to respect your parents. But they do need to be right. Read on, verse 12.
Verse 12, my son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth.
It says, help your parents as they get older. Don't grieve them. Don't be a headache. Don't be a hindrance. Don't be somebody that's hindering instead. You were born, you were created to be a servant to your parents. You were born, you were created to be a help to your parents. It says, don't grieve them because you see them struggling, you see them getting up. Matter of fact, watch this, verse 13. It's going to clear it up.
And if his understanding fail,
Yep.
have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength.
When you are in your full strength, don't despise him because he getting old. His memory fading. His body ain't as strong as it used to be. He ain't got the energy he once had. Help him. Help moms. Help pops. Especially if they're honorable and been moving in a righteous way. You have some nut?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, man, because what we talking about actually happened with me and my father. You know my father. My father was a big dude, whatever, and he ended up having dementia, you know what I'm saying, lost his memory and everything, you know what I'm saying, but, you know, the respect and the love that I have for my father, admiration, all the other stuff, you know what I mean, as he got older, got feeble, got weak, you know what I mean, I literally had to carry my dad, you know what I mean, around or whatever, and it's like, you know, I'm just reading that right there, made me think about that, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, you know, that's your job, you know what I mean, you're supposed to be there for him, and I felt good being there for my dad till he took his last breath, all the way there with him, you know, like, I feel like that was my job. You know
and the fact, and that says something about the relationship that you had with your dad and the type of person he was at the very least.
Yeah, he was solid.
That you even wanted to do that. Because some people would be like, that's the ass get.
Oh, no.
So some people move like that. But so that says a lot about your father. That says a lot about the type of person he was. But that's law. Scripture, when it says honor your mother and your father, this is what it's talking about. It's telling you what that looks like. It's telling you what happens if you don't do it. It's telling you what happens if you do it. It's telling you when they get older and you're in your full strength and you grown and they getting old and withering and they getting weak, guess what? It's your job to look after them. And don't make it a burden. Don't make it grievous. Verse 14.
Verse 14, for the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins, it shall be added to build thee up.
It shall be added to build thee up. Most High is looking at that. How you dealing with your parents? How you dealing with your people? How after these people raised you up, and it's your turn to look out for them. How you dealing with it? How you moving with it? Right?
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
One of the things I really noticed too, man, with this truth, it's not an individual thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's individual because you have to work out your own treatment, but at the same time, this is a community type situation. We got it's teaching us how we're supposed to treat each other and how we all codependent on each other as well. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we definitely need each other. You know what I'm saying? It shows the importance of us treating each other the way we're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, it's really important that we, you know what I'm saying, just be righteous with each other, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
If you pay attention to the laws are basically two factions, and Christ said it: love the Lord your God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love God first and foremost, and then these other laws are how to treat your community right, the brothers and sisters around you. The Lord is all about unifying in righteousness and keeping a righteous community around. That's why it blows my mind when you got these fools out here talking about, I don't need no camp, I don't need no congregation. Nigga, you need a community. God literally wants you in a community. Yeah. There's safety in a community. The reason why the Lord set it up that way. You guys have your own community. You guys have these rules, these laws, these bylaws on how you conduct yourself. If other people come in, you tell them they need to fall in line with these laws that we have here so that your community can move right and be in harmony. Being solo, that's why the scriptures say two is better than one. Yeah. Being solo is foolish. It's dumb. The Lord wants us to be in a righteous community.
And you never see a lone sheep.
Never.
They don't move like that.
You know why? Because they easy prey.
Yeah.
Easy prey. Let's go to Matthew 16. We're going to finish with this, and then we're going to hit part 2 next week. Matthew 16, we're going to start at verse 1. Still on honor your mother and your father.
Matthew 16 and verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven.
Right.
He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather. Today, for the sky is red and lowering.
Salakia, not 16-1, 15-1. My bad, 15-1.
15-1. Then came Jesus' scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why did the disciples transgress the traditions of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
Right. So Pharisees is pressing them about these traditions they made up, right? What Christ say? Read.
But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of the Most High by your traditions?
He said, you worried about your stupid traditions. He said, why y'all transgressing the law of God? Watch this, read.
For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and hath cursed father or mother, let him die the death.
It says, he that curseth father and mother, let him die the death. So honor your mother and your father. That's the commandment. And then Deuteronomy 21 tells you, a person who decided to disregard, disobey, and curse their mother and your father, they're supposed to be stoned. He said, you worried about these traditions. The law says this. Why y'all be transgressing the law? Watch this. Read on.
But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, but whosoever thou mightest be profited by me.
It said, but y'all say, well, your parents should be grateful if you do decide to help them. It's a gift if I'm allowing you to profit off of me. The law says honor your mother and your father. Ecclesiastes gives you the whole bust down about it. It went into depth and detail. Help them when they're older. If you help them, you're storing up treasures. If you fear the Lord, you're going to help them. You're going to honor them. You're going to move this way. But you telling the people that they lucky if you decide to help them. It's a gift. You transgressing the law, but you worry about your stupid traditions. Read on.
And honor not his father or his mother, and he shall be free. Thus have he made the commandment of God of non effect by your tradition.
By your tradition. Your tradition is, well, we don't, it's up to you if you want to honor them. It don't really matter like that. But the commandment said, no, you do honor them.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. That's where a lot of people are today.
And the thing about us he said, well, we put traditions of men over the word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to do what they say rather than what the Most High say.
Right. Y'all disregarded the law.
Yeah, we've been doing it like that. We've been doing Christmas, so we just...
That's what we do.
So, it ain't like that. It's tradition.
Insane.
It's not a sin, bro.
Insane. We was doing it back then. We doing it today. We have to, and it's crazy because At the end of the day, that very first commandment, if you break anything under that, is an automatic breaking of that first commandment. Honor your mother and your father. I chose not to. You chose to disobey God. So you put your emotions or whatever you felt over the Most High God. You disobeyed that first commandment. Don't steal. I stole because I felt like it. You put your emotions and your desires and your lust over that first commandment. You've made your emotions a God over the Most High God to disobey him. Don't commit adultery. Broke the first commandment. Don't covet. Broke the first commandment if you decide to do it. Any transgression of any law is an automatic violation of the first commandment because you've chosen to put whatever it is as a God over obeying the Most High God, Yahweh. And a lot of people didn't even realize that. A lot of people don't realize that. So next week we're going to hit part 2. What do we get down to? Honor your mother and your father. What is that? I don't even know what commandment that is. 5th? No other gods before me, no idols. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. Honor the Sabbath day. Honor your mother and your father. That was 5. So we got 5 more. Next week, we're going to do breaking down the 10 Commandments, part 2. For those of y'all that stuck around, I pray to the Most High that y'all learned something. I pray that we've given an in-depth understanding and you really do understand so far what it is that these commandments are really saying. Because a lot of times we misrepresent and we misunderstand what the commandments are saying. And that's very important because if you're not obeying these laws properly, you're not obeying these laws. So it's very important that you do your due diligence to get a strong understanding of this. With that being said, let me do my spiel real quick. Every first Monday, we got Bible Q&A. Every Monday after that, we have our Spanish class, Los Discípulos de las Palabras. Tuesday, Bible Basics. Wednesday, World History According to the Bible. Every second and fourth Thursday, we have Stick to the Script. Every Friday, we have the lineup, which is the blue strip with Yashamai, followed by Room 144 by Apostle Ash or Bishop Izar or Bishop Banaya. And then we follow that up and we close out Friday night with my segment, Sound Doctrine. Saturday, we have War for the Kingdom with Bishop Yaziquel, and then we close it out with Feed the Sheep with Bishop Tazayuan. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're sharing this content so we can get this understanding out to the people so we can continue to save souls and give people a thorough understanding of what God is expecting from us, because the more we understand, the more we apply, the closer we get to the kingdom. And we do this for y'all. If you want to get boots to the ground in your state so we can get to the work out there and save souls in your particular state, info@truenation.org. Hit us up. If you got questions about becoming a member, same thing, info@truenation.org. Also, if it's on your heart to give alms, to contribute to the ministry as we continue to go out and save souls and really put in this work, because we take this serious, truenation.org/donate. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support that we've gotten thus far. And we give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High for everything that we've been able to do. We got congregations in West Africa, the Philippines, Canada, Georgia, Detroit. We got congregants in Texas, Louisiana, NorCal, Central Cal. I'm missing a few. Oregon, Connecticut, I believe in Florida. So all praises to the Heavenly Father for the continued growth. For those who want to donate and contribute to help this ministry continue to grow, truenation.org/donate. With that being said, we love y'all, Israel. Y'all stay tuned for part 2 next week. Let's get a full understanding of these 10 commandments. We love y'all. Most High willing, we catch y'all tomorrow in Feed the Sheep, the closing Sabbath class. Shalom, Israel.